Akwaaba. Welcome to my yoga channel. My name is Mark. I put together a few exercises just to counterbalance any tightness and soreness you might be feeling after a long bike ride. Get a lot of tightness in the hips and in the legs, in particular the thighs. So I do hope you enjoy this little sequence. Let's start by coming up onto our knees and start to bring the torso down as we come into child's pose. So you want to aim to rest your head, your forehead down onto the mat. If it doesn't reach, feel free to use a block. Otherwise, put the block to one side. Just let gravity take control. Just feel nicely supported by the ground. Place your forearms on the mats, your palms placed on the floor. Just start to come into your breath. Just inhale in through the nose and exhale gently through the nose. I'll take a moment to come to the fingertips and start to shake out through the shoulders. Start to find some openness in the shoulders by coming into puppy pose from here. So start to walk the body forward. You want to just aim to place your hips over your knees. Keep your forearms flat on the mat. Just walk the torso forward, but your hip is high in the air. Again, if you feel a need to put a block underneath your forehead, if your forehead doesn't reach the ground, please do so. Otherwise, place your forehead down, or if you want to create a bit more openness, feel free to go for the chin. Just enjoy this stretch here as you're creating space in between your shoulder blades. It's one of my favourite poses, can really stay here for a long time. Just don't forget to just maintain your breath. You're not trying to stress or strain yourself, you're not trying to force the pose. Whenever you're ready, come out. This will meet in tabletop, so you want a hand stacked underneath the shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And on the inhale, we're going to come into cat and cow. So take a deep breath in and take your gaze up towards the front diagonal before curling. Taking the gaze to the navel, just comes to angry cat pose. I'm going for 3 of these. So inhale to look up and exhale to create space again between your shoulder blades. And go for 1 more. Inhale to look up. Exhale, take the gaze to the navel, pressing the hands to the mat before coming back into neutral. Just place the right hand towards the centre of the mat. Start to open up through the shoulders, rotating it from back to front and then front to back. And in the switch, take the other side. Place the left hand in the centre of the mat and start to wind up the right shoulder this time. I was taking it back and then forwards. And then come back to a neutral position. And then use the opportunity here just to really undulate through the body. Bring movement to the spine. Just come to a freestyle. There's no need to move the hands. Just keep the hands where they are and just really embrace movement through the torso. Before coming to stillness, let's go for 1 more cat and cow. I'm going to take the gaze up towards the front diagonal again. Before pressing the hands to the mat, curling back. Once we come back into a neutral position, I'm going to walk the hands back and lift up through the torso. It's going to bring a stretch now to the quad muscles, maybe come up high in the tiptoes. As you lean back, just place the hands onto the thighs and just feel that stretch for your quads. On the inhale, lean back, and on the exhale, just draw your torso forward. If your toes tucked on, you should find you're bringing a nice stretch to your toes here as well. Let's walk the body forward. We're going to keep the toes curled under, and then push up into our first downward facing dog. Just from here, bring movement into the legs. Maybe walk out your legs from left to right. Just feel into your calf muscles. Feel free to come up high into the toes, and then energetically draw your heels back down towards the mat. The heels don't need to touch the mat. Just create that impression if your heels are energetically drawing down. Just create length in the back of the legs. And on the next breath, I'm going to inhale to lengthen that right leg back, curl the toes in towards the face before drawing a knee in. As we come up into our low lunge, a runner's lunge of the left shin on the mats. Your right leg has got a 90-degree bend in the knee. Just place your hands on your right thigh. Just enjoy the stretch you're coming into in your left hip flexor. Get the torso nice and tall. Just inhale to just push forward, create some more space in that left hip flexor. On your next breath, place your left hand down towards the left side of the mat and start to open up the body towards the right side of the room. So just lift that arm up towards the sky. Feel free to maybe wrap that right arm around the lower back. I'm just going to hold it here for a couple more breaths. And on your next breath, walk your hands back towards the front. On the right side, I'm going to curl the left toes under and start to walk the body back and come up high on the right heel, curling the right toes in towards the face, and coming into a stretch into the right hamstring. Try and create length or keep length in the spine here. Just walk the hands forward. Maybe engage into your right quad, which will just help to loosen up through that right hamstring that much more further. When you're ready, walk the body forward again. Find that bend in that right knee. I'm going to place both hands, the left hand should stay down. Place the right hand in on the inside of the right thigh. Come up onto the outside of the right foot. Place the right foot, face it out towards the 2 o'clock direction. And just find space in your right hip this time. Again, feel free to hold it. If you're ready, I'm going to come into lizard pose. So with both hands this time, we'll sit inside of that right foot. Come up behind the back toes and just rock forwards and back on your left toes. If you've got a block or a tall book handy, just place it on the left side of your mat. Feel free to drop the left knee and just start to bring the torso down towards the mat. And again, you should feel that stretch coming into the left hip flexor here. Lizard pose it's an excellent stretching pose for opening the hips, the hamstrings and the quads. And really integrating this sort of pose in any stretch you do will really help to improve your hip flexibility and strengthen your leg muscles. When you're ready, just walk the hands back. Let's all come up into our high plank. So forwards and back on the toes. Nice along in the body before bending into the elbows. Bring them down to a 90-degree angle. Let's push up through the hands into an upward facing dog. Curl the toes under as we will meet again in our downward facing dog. Okay, you're lifting your tailbone nice and high, creating length in your spine here. Let's take the other side. So on the inhale, lengthen that left leg back, curl the toes in towards the face, and then draw that left leg forward, placing the left shoulder foot down, just on the inside of the left hand at the front of the mat. Drop the right knee to the mat and the right shin as we come into our low lunge, runner's lunge on this side. Again, place both hands on the left thigh. Keep the torso nice and high. Don't forget to breathe. Take the breath into your right hip flexor this time. You should be feeling a nice stretch through your right hip flexor. When you're ready, place your right hand down on the right side of the mat. I'm going to start to open the body up towards the left side of the room this time. Again, feel free to take your gaze up towards your hand or down towards the floor. And if it's there for you, feel free to wrap your left hand around the lower back. Just keep the breath nice and smooth here. When you're ready, just release the hands back towards the front of the mat, and again we're going to take half splits on the left side. So again, start to walk the body back. Your hips just stacked over your knee, your right knee, and you're high on the left heel. And again, engage through that left quad just to create a bit more openness in that left hamstring. Just maintain your breath here. Again, this is a great stretch for stretching the thighs, the hamstrings and the groin. When you're ready, walk the hands forward, and this time I'm coming up onto the outside of the left foot. The left foot is pointing out towards 10 o'clock. Bending into that right elbow maybe. Place that left hand on the inside of the left thigh. Be careful not to place your left hand on the left knee. You don't do your knees any damage. Just enjoy the openness you're creating here. Just hold for a couple more breaths before walking. Both hands so they sit on the inside of your left hand. This time again we're going for lizard on the right side. So the left foot is still in the front of the mat. Feel free to drop down onto that right knee, the right shin, uncurl the right toes, Again, I'm going to use a block just to place my forearms on. Just sink your weight down into your hips and just check in with your body here. Feel free to remain in your own expression of the pose for maybe 5 or 10 breaths. If you're ready to come out, just plant both palms down on the mat and step your left foot back. And let's all meet in a high plank. Again, we're going to rock forwards and back on the toes. When you're ready, the next breath, come down into a low plank. Just push your hands into the mat as we come up into an upward facing dog. Just take your gaze over the right shoulder and then the left shoulder. And when you're ready, let's curl the toes under. Let's once again all meet in our down facing dog, our inverted V. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale through the nose and exhale. Let's come high on the toes and let's all walk towards the front of the mat. You can keep your feet hip distance here. Just take opposite hands to opposite elbows. Let gravity take control. Just feel nice and heavy through the body as you sway from side to side. Maybe take a slight bend into the knees. Let the body be heavy. Place your hands down. We're going to bring a palm down towards our heels and come to a seated position on the mat. Lengthen out through the legs as we get ready for our seated forward bend. So you're curling your toes in towards your face, just shake out through the legs. And when you're ready, take a deep inhale in, just take your arms up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, you're going to bend from the hips. So keep the front torso nice and long and lean forward from the hip joints and not the waist. Really lengthen through the tailbone. Lengthen the tailbone away from the back of your pelvis. If it's possible to take the sides of your feet with your hands, then feel free. But just try and maintain length in your spine here. Again, engage through both quads, which will just create space and allow you to stretch out your hamstrings. When you're ready, just release. Come back up. Bend into that right knee, and you're going to take that right foot up and over the left thigh. Place our right hand behind us. Inhale to lengthen up that left hand. Use the crease of the elbow just to grab your right thigh and take a seated spinal twist, taking the body facing the right side of the room. Inhale to lengthen up. Exhale to turn. Every time you twist, just keep your chin over your chest. You're not twisting from the neck. Just take both hands over to the opposite side. That's a counterbalance. And come back out towards neutral. You're keeping your right leg over your left thigh. You're bending up through your left knee. And just enjoy the opening you're creating here in your right hip flexor here. So just inhale, just take that breath to your hips. Once you're ready, again, lengthen out with both legs. Just give them a shake. Sit nice and tall on your glutes. On the inhale, lengthen up. And on the exhale, again, we're coming down into our seated forward bend. You might have a bit more openness here. Again, feel free to keep both arms either side of your legs. So if it's there for you, feel free to grab the underside of the soles of your feet. With each inhalation, lift and lengthen the front torso just slightly. With each exhalation, just release a little bit more into the forward bend. When you're ready, release out the pose. Again, shake out the legs, this time taking the opposite side. So we're bending up through that left knee, taking that left foot up and over the right thigh. This time the left hand is going to sit behind us. When you're ready, on the inhale, lengthen up that right arm. Use the crease of the right elbow just to hook into the left knee. This time we're facing the left side of the room. So on the inhale, we're lengthening up. On the exhale, we're twisting. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. And when you're ready, let's take the counterbalance, taking both hands over towards the opposite side, towards the right side. Take a cheeky bend. Start to walk that right foot back. So your right knee's pointed out towards the mat. Your left foot is still up and over the right thigh. It just finishes the tightness into your left hip flexor here. Again, just breathe into this pose. Flex into the left foot. Feel free to hold for 30 seconds. If you're ready, just come out of it. Just shake out through the legs. And then cross both legs over. Place your hands to the front of the mat. Let's all meet again in our high plank. Nice and strong in your high plank on the inhale. Let's come forward and down. On the exhale, we're coming into our upward facing dog. And the next breath, we'll come into our downward facing dog. From here, we're going to just walk the feet back as we find ourselves now. High plank again. Just slowly bring the torso all the way down. Relax with the body, uncurl the toes. Place your arms either side of the body. Take your gaze over towards the left side of the room. Just taking a gentle stretch into your neck here. And then switch and take the gaze over to the right side. Just for a couple of breaths. When you're ready, place both arms either side of you with a bend into the elbows at 90 degrees. And pointing the feet back, you can start to lift those legs. And on the third time, relax the feet down onto the mat. Let's switch and start lifting the torso. So an inhale, come up with the torso and the arms at a right angle. Maybe pinch into the shoulder blades here. Make for one more. Inhale to lengthen up. Take your gaze, keep your gaze just at the front of the mat. Let's go for the combination. So you lift into the torso, the elbows, the feet. Engage through the body here. Really turning your muscles. Once you've done your three, just relax the torso down. Now I can come into the Sphinx Pose. The forearms are flat on the mat, the elbows are stacked underneath the shoulders. First, if you're drawing your body through your arms, and then bring the body back down. Place your hands underneath the shoulders. I'm going to come up again into our upward facing dog before curling the toes under as we will meet in our downward facing dog. Come high on the toes, just walk towards the front of the mat. Ready, just bend into the knees. Again, come down again into a seated position. Place your arms either side of yourselves and start to slowly rock back, coming down to the mat. Release your spine on the floor, level out through the legs, give yourself a final shake. Maybe close your eyes as we come into Shavasana here. So feel free to repeat this sequence at any point you see fit, but it's particularly useful after a bike ride. You spend a lot of time arching over our handlebars and in a forward moving direction. We develop powerful quads and our glutes. This is a nice way just to relieve any sort of tightness. Hope you enjoyed the session. If anything hurts, please do remember to stop and adjust the pose. Just listen to your body. If you have found this useful, please feel free to hit the like button or do subscribe. And I hope to see you back again soon. Take care. Again, my name is Mark and this has been Akwaaba Yoga. Thank you.